careful. I'm disrespecting you.
No.
All my questions are here. Just let you know.
Texting people. Hi, Moto Miwa, and founder of Club 4AG, I guess, and Drift Association co-founder, and so much memories to discuss about Irwindale Speedway tonight. Drift Association is something that just popped up. I don't know how. I mean, it sounds really official, but it really isn't. It's really what it is. What it sounds like, though. It's Drift Association of a bunch of guys, right? Yeah, we were just messing around. But I was always a track-oriented guy in autocross or track events or whatnot. So everything that we did was raceways, parking lots, things like that. And Irwindale Speedway just happened to have this huge parking lot that they would rent out. So we set up our first drift lesson. I mean, it wasn't even a lesson at first, right? It was just a bunch of us going out there trying to find a place that was sanctioned, and we could just mess around and go practice drifting, J turns, and Teijo en Senkai, round and round donuts, you'd call it here. Design a bunch of those, refined them, J turn, lots of stuff. And through our core members included autocrossers, hardcore. So we were pretty good at designing courses inside parking lots as well. So that's what Drift Association is. I mean, we did a few events, and it just more and more people joined to where we just kind of made a company out of it, and started operating them. What was it? Once a month, sometimes even more often. But yeah, a lot of fun. That's how drifting started at Irwindale, I think. Yeah. Before Irwindale, drifting in the USA is just an underground thing, right? It's just something that people did. I mean, tuner cars itself wasn't such a widespread community like it is today. It's almost generic today, right? You can buy tuner parts on Amazon. That wasn't the case back then. It was just a very, very core bunch of people. Almost not really outcasts, but just there. It's a subset of communities, and drifting was just something that just exploded in Japan, but we only witnessed in videos pretty much, and only in Japanese videos. So it wasn't the era of YouTube, or it was just YouTube was just beginning. It wasn't a media that everybody had access to because of the bandwidth. I mean, times were different, and in the U.S., just a bunch of us who are closer to Japan, connected in culture, like myself, we were just eager to try it out, and we were just messing around and I mean, from our younger days, we knew Canyon wasn't really the place. In our case, there's a lot, some of us were in the canyons as well, and that's fine because that's how it started in Japan. But we just wanted a safe place, when we wanted to do this with people. I wanted a safe place. I wanted a place to teach. I wanted teachers, all of this structured stuff. And that's where it was, and there wasn't any in America. So we were messing around with drifting, 99, 2000-ish era, and yeah, I mean, trying to look for that venue to do it on. Bunch of different places, lots of parking lots, airports. I mean, we're trying to find places, but it was already pretty inaccessible. These places. I mean, much more than today. But I mean, even then, it was one or two places. Every event that out of 6 or 7 that we'd call. Irwindale was one of them, and it was one of those ones that became always available. I think our first contact in Irwindale was 2001 sometime. It's just such a long time ago. I don't recall the exact date, but yeah, they welcomed us, and it was funny because at the time, we would never thought of doing something on that oval, right? But that parking lot was so big, and yeah, I think we did up about 20 events there, maybe more. But it was a lot of fun, and Irwindale was one of those places. It was just always available, and it was, within a year or two, it was a stage for the Option Video shoot, Ikaten, which we also did the operation to help them host. And yeah, that put us in touch with lots of things that came after. Irwindale being in LA, it just became iconic, because they had those really tall palm trees that lined the parking lots. And the ending of Option Video when they shot in LA, however many times we did D1, I mean, they would always kind of pan across those in the sunset, right? Just against the orange sky. Yeah, and it's coincidental though, because like I said in the past, I mean, they were the only ones available, and they were the only venue that could seat that many people to host the D1. And the iconic LA sky, the trees, the palm trees. I mean, that was all part of something that captured us for the Japanese audience, and it was cool because in Japan, back in the 80s, when you go to Japan and you go to a car parts store, you would see palm trees and blue license plates with yellow, the old California plates, because that was their thing. It was like, someday I'm gonna go vacation in California. It's the LA lifestyle, the lowriders, all of that. But yeah, it was that age group of people that were drifting at the time. So I think it just hit the sweet spot. It was just the right city, the right venue. It all worked. Irwindale Speedway being a junior NASCAR track, little 5,000 to 10,000 sort of venue. I think the original max capacity was something here under 8,000 or something, right? And that just was the perfect venue. I mean, we were expecting maybe a couple thousand people if we're lucky on the first D1, but man, word spread. And yeah, when we did that first D1 event, there was probably 6,000, and on the second one, we overfilled the place, and we got in big trouble for backing up the freeway because you just simply ran out of space, So D1 was thrilled because they've never had over 2,000 in their home events. So Irwindale was probably the first mass attended drift event, their first or second D1, yeah, in the world. It put drifting on the map of the English world, English speaking world. I think it was definitely something incredible to experience and be a part of. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of questions, were targeted at me. Early days, as well as I guess these days when we look back at history, how did that oval turn into a pro drift track, right? At first it was just one of those things. It's just like, how do we do this, right? I mean, we have a perfect venue, but we have 2 concrete walls inside of a 8-mile oval, and nobody's ever drifted a bank before. But we were adventurous. We wanted to see it happen. The venue, they didn't know enough to say yes or no. It was, we were lucky in that. But yeah, for a week or two, Taka and I, Taka being one of my principal instructors at the drift school, we would go back and forth for about 2 weeks in that discussion. Can we do it? And can we present it to the Japanese? Because otherwise we'd have to find a new venue. But they liked that venue so much, Irwindale, that we wanted to make it happen. So, and he said, well, we'll just put a cone in the middle, and then we'll just make that into a big S turn, and then switch into the inside, and be another inside wall, and there'd be wall on the outside of both corners, and we would just make a big S in the middle and finish. And is that long enough? It's one of the shorter tracks, but coming from the other bank, down the hill into that bank, I think there's enough speed to make this really fun. So yeah, we had Signal Auto and a bunch of guys come over, just doing small events before the D1 actually happened. But we had the Japanese pro car, and I think Nomuken was one of them. But yeah, we after we sent everybody home, because we didn't want anybody to see the Japanese pro eat it in the turn, right? So we, in the middle of the night, I think it was about 11 p.m. after we got done with one of our events, we came back and we started testing on that course, see if it can pull off that drift up into the bank and down into the corners. And sure enough, 4th or 5th try, beautiful, big, smoky, the whole thing. And he said, we just put K-rails down. This is it. This is going to happen.
So you saw the first time there was drifting on the bank?
Yeah, I think so. Unless somebody else did it when I wasn't around.
And it was the Signal guys?
Signal guys, Option Video crew.
Option Video crew was there to see that?
Yes. Two guys.
Were they there for something else, or they were there specifically for that?
They were there for something else. They were there. We were kind of pre-planning more Ikaten, or what can we do? Because the Ikaten was a hit. Not in terms of probably video sales, but it's just the crew of Option just saw another window of opportunity in Los Angeles, or United States in general. I mean, because they were at it since the 80s, and they're just running out of stuff to do. You can only cover the original R32, R33, the RX-7. I mean, this is before a lot of this Western adoption of all that stuff, right? Because that all came after Initial D. So yeah, but yeah, Irwindale, it was just there was in our mind, it wasn't really an option to go anywhere else. I mean, I'm sure we could have done it at California Speedway or Pomona or some other big parking lot venue, but nobody, right? Nobody saw, nobody knew. I mean, we didn't know that it was going to draw a crowd. It was going to be a sensation on the internet and magazines. None of that. None of that existed. And you know, who can we convince but somebody who's seen parking lot events? If I could recall legendary moments, man, there's so many. It, it, it's really funny because there's only 2.5 corners to that pro venue, you know, technically 3.5, but I mean the competition happens in the 2.5 corners, right? And yet every single event, every single pro event, amateur event, training event, exhibition run, you know, that I can, you know, I could recall so many different drift, the car, the driver, you know, and how I felt that day, that moment, it comes back. But I think one of the first moments, right, is when we had our first D1, and you know, my one of my favorite cars from the Japanese, that was Nomuken's white Skyline sedan. And yeah, we were trying to refine the track a few days before day before the event. We were trying to refine the apex cone, and Nomuken was just gunning it one lap after another, and he was just trying different things. And that's when I was in the stands just watching. I was just like, my jaw dropped, because he would, you know, he would place it high, he would place it low, he would, you know, sweep different ways, and then he would just do different things around that apex cone, and every time he would nail it and just come smoking off that corner like nobody's business, flip that big ass sedan around, and then just went straight back into the wall, stopped 6 inches from it, and just, it's just incredible. I mean, I was just, yeah, I think Irwindale Speedway, with Nomuken's car, but I mean with just when we first used it with the pro cars, open exhaust, it's like an amphitheater, right? Because it's just this bowl that's dug in because of the oval, you know. Even the straightaways, a bank, part of the bank oval, because it's such a short track. It's a bowl. And I don't think even the Japanese crew have ever heard a D1 car, tandem D1 car, scream through that type of structure. And just, you know, it's like a theater, right? It's seventh row center type thing. You're sitting in that stand, and it just reverberates, and it just, that the whole, I think it's aluminum, that's the grandstand seats. It just, you know, when there's nobody sitting on it and the car's going around, it's just like the whole thing is just shaking, and it's this engine noise and tire noise kind of, you know, wafts around here, and then the engine noise just coming at you directly, and you're so close too when you're in the front seats, and as the cars come around with the big wings, and they just do their first sweep, you can feel the wind just come off those big rear wings, and then the moment after that, you get this pelted with just bits of tire, right? I mean, it's kind of the most unhealthiest things you can do as a pastime, but man, it's just like getting sprayed at SeaWorld. I think that's something original and unique to Irwindale. Drifting is unique in that, you know, I think it's like a sumo match and figure skating. You know, it's one-on-one, but it's beautiful to look at, and it's over in 30 seconds or 45 seconds, whatever. How, you know, very short. And Mitch Wright from SCCA, he's, I think, the boss of the SCCA at the time. mentioned it best in the magazine. He said it was the best lap of the best race you've ever seen happening over and over again all night. That's what he said. And that was like the perfect description. It really is. And watching drifting from that perspective, it's neat, and Irwindale is one of those venues that's just the perfectly sized and scale. I mean, I just said that about the noise and everything, but even visually, you have this grandstands that's got seating for 8,000 people that have a direct and complete view of this battle. You don't have that in motorsports most of the time, right? I mean, drag racing, by the time they checker, they're quarter mile away, and any circuit racing, you only see one or two corners, and then they go over a hill or whatever, and they're on the other side of the track. But drifting, yeah, all of the smoke, all of the crashes, even, it's just right there, almost you can touch it, and I think for media people, photographers, people who like shooting motorsports, I think drifting was popular to them, and that's one of the reasons it probably exploded too, is they can get a great shot on every lap. They don't wait 2 hours for somebody to get sideways. They're sideways the entire time, smoking, and they're tapping each other, they're tagging walls, and that's part of this sport. And I think it just broke the internet that way, through photography and video, I think. And that's half the time the initial your perfect shot of this was always at Irwindale. Thoughts when I heard Irwindale's closing, which was, I don't know, over 10 years ago, right? But every now and then that it's how it is in California. We just keep losing race venues to whatever. I mean, the land value is just fluctuating, but going up so high. Thoughts, when they closed California Speedway down the road, it really hit me when they tore down the structure. I think it's going to be the same for me for Irwindale. All of my personal experience and memories are well into the past. I still go there to watch, Formula D and things that take place there, but and the peak experience for me was just back then, starting this whole thing, right? It's really sad to go, but at the same time, it's not within my control. It's something kind of detached from me. My heart's attached to the venue, but just no physical control over things. It is what it is. But I think when they put the first wrenches down into those grandstands and they start coming down, I think I'm probably gonna have to look into those palm trees and into the sunset and cry about it. I think it's kind of like looking at your high school, right?
Yeah.
As you drive by,
Yeah.
or college or whatever.
Yeah.
And part of your life, a decade of your life, was just spent there and intimately, and just to see that just disappear the next time you go down the 605 freeway, is yeah, it's like something missing, you know, like something. It triggers something in your gut somewhere.
Yeah.
My favorite memory, if I'm asked about it, I don't have one favorite memory. I think it's a collective of 1,000 memories, maybe more, which, Irwindale is just it's such a small place that all of those 1,000 memories is just, it's just in my head. It's just this one thing. It's just one collection of 1,000 memories. It's one memory, I think, and it's really unique to Irwindale. That's how I feel. Yeah, people couldn't get enough of pro drifting in the U.S., but D1 being a Japanese full season series, they can only come to the U.S. twice, right? So, when Slipstream introduced their American series, Formula D, naturally that had to start at Irwindale too, because that's where, you can pack the stadium pretty much every single time. So that's how Formula D started. Eventually it would replace, D1 Grand Prix series, because that was a visitor series. This is a home series. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to have our crew be invited to do the first operation as well. I guess, like we said in the other video before, that Irwindale, as well as insurance companies and all of the stipulations and things, I think we were the key to repeat it the same way and assure the quality of the event's motorsports operations side. I think we were the key, so they trusted us. Bob Klein at the time was the manager at Irwindale, and and he was adamant that we would operate every single one of these. And sure enough, I mean, it's one of the reasons our company existed at the time is just because we were doing it frequently enough that it was actually a job. But yes, great memories.
Nice.
But going back to the crowds, the audience, the whole hype, the rise of drifting, and how it was Irwindale centric. It was in the beginning. I think the best way to describe it from my perspective is, when I fly to Japan to go to, each individual manufacturer, whether it be parts manufacturer or even Toyota, Nissan, Honda, those facilities, and going to Tokyo Auto Salon, the auto shows, the individual shops, visiting teams, the Japanese side organizers, and all of the drivers, especially the first generation drivers, which are also Japan's, year two or the inaugural roster, the top 16 guys. We're in touch with still. They're all my age now, but I see them today, full circle 20 years later, right? And they still talk about it. I mean, you give them sake and you sit down with the yakitori chicken and we start talking, and they always bring it up. It's like the fourth or fifth thing after, hello, how you doing? What's America like? And back in the days, and then boom, fifth topic. It's like, God, I miss Irwindale. Because to them too, and the organizers, they've never shot with their video camera a drifting event with 12,000 people lining just every corner. And how the American public just, cheers. It's that whole stand, that aluminum stands, right? It's just, and just that doesn't happen in Japan. Japan, it's all concrete stands, huge race venues. It's not a compact venue. There's no compact 8th Mile Oval in Japan. I wish there was, but they've never seen that before. They never had. They've never had anybody but quiet Japanese people clapping, right? And here we are in America, the rowdiest crowd in Southern California. All races, all colors, all ages, just standing up 2 hours straight, wouldn't sit down, just And I think they still remember that. That was a shock to them. So that's how we remember Irwindale from Japan side too. So here, I was asked to bring a few pieces of memory. Among many things, but something complete I had was, when I was the head official or operation manager of the D1 events, we would design and we'd have these uniforms. And here, we have, I think D1 went on for like 8 years there at Irwindale. And I have each one of the uniforms. This is our first uniform. It's like basically like a pit crew shirt. But this is all the officials, camera crew from Option Video, trackside operations, and some of the, anybody who's visible to the audience or the drivers or the camera. We'd have these uniforms. And first year it was the same as Japan. It was black and white colored and with the logo. And this is the first year for them that they had the D1 Professional Drift Grand Prix Series logo that was just, internationally alphabets, right? So this happened. And then I think it was a white shirt the first time and didn't last too long, Most of them just got trashed and stained. Second shirt, the Japanese crew decided on this black and orange without the logo. It just kind of looked like a Halloween uniform at first to me, but as soon as they put this D1 logo on the shirt, it became the style. And this is inspired by Irwindale, believe it or not. The Mr. Zach and Saita of Option Video, when they were trying to choose colors, they didn't think too long before they came up with the Irwindale Sunset. Sorry, it's orange, so it's a little special, I think. And then they went to these gray uniforms because it was just time to move on, I guess. Short-sleeved. But this was, I think, first released for the Las Vegas event because it was just really hot, and these orange ones were just, thick. These are like full pit uniforms. So these gray ones, more like a work shirt, but this turned out to be okay too. Yeah, this was for Vegas, but it became the next generation uniform, and this was worn till the final D1 event at Irwindale. I believe that was in 2008. And they were independent from Formula D. And this, being the Formula D, that took D1's place pretty much. Look at that, right? Formula D. First generation, first era Formula D crew. This is a red shirt. It's a Sparko collared shirt. Pretty spiffy. But all of these, just lots of memory, I think, for Irwindale. I mean, I think I'm gonna leave these with you so you can frame it and put it somewhere. I don't know.
Pretty awesome.